There's an interesting thing about time, which is that it moves through the human experience. We always think of moving through life this way, over there, all the different directions. But what if actually everything in space and time is moving through you? This is why your perception of time can be completely different one day when you're having fun, and then another day you're somewhere you don't want to be, and 5 minutes feels like it takes forever. Like, we all know about this. This is why being in the now is so key. Because being in the now really means, you may know what you want to do next. You may write a to-do list in the now for the next things you want to do. But then you take one thing that feels right for you to do right now, not what people say that you should do, and you do it literally now without thinking of the other things on purpose. So many of us were like, oh, okay, I'm doing this, but then I've got this to do. I've got these other things to do. And you wonder why you're exhausted at the end of the day? Especially if you're a high performer, a seasoned entrepreneur, somebody who is used to doing a lot, then you will be drained, you will be tired. And if you continue to repress emotions, you will end up getting like chronic illness, chronic pain maybe in your older age, or maybe you have it now. And many of you know chronic pain is something that I heal in my clients, I've healed in myself, which is meant to be impossible to heal in the ways that I heal it. If you've ever heard of TMS by Dr. John Sarno, well, TMS is what he calls chronic pain being emotional. And Bruce Lipton, PhD, Dr. Bruce Lipton, he talks about how 99% of chronic pain is emotional. And me, Kai Clifford, your spiritual guide and energy alchemist, constantly goes on about how your emotional pain becomes physical. Okay, so it's really important to understand that they're connected. When you take your time and drop in and allow yourself to realize that time moves through you, and you're like this, come into presence, come into this actual moment. Notice that all these things that you're thinking about in your head aren't happening. It's just you in this room right now. It's you wherever you are right now. At the moment, it's you and me right now. But the things that you see in your head as though they're real and happening now that you hardly even realize, but it's sort of all around you, it's not happening. So your job is to come to where you are and give as much presence as you can. If you're relaxing, don't be in the back of your mind feeling a little bit guilty, low-level stress, like thinking you're problem solving about like, oh, what I should do next. That's why you constantly want to rest or constantly pushing through and feeling tired, because you're never actually having the rest time, being in the rest state that you need to be in. Does that make sense? And so when you're in this now moment fully, time flows through you, as it always really does, but in such an easy and graceful way. So it's easier to have more time and literally expand time. Me and my friend, we had this experience where my husband fell asleep, and her and I, we ended up staying up talking, and he got up and we're like, oh, we thought he'd had a long sleep. And he looked at the time and he'd only been gone for like just under an hour. And we swore that we had 3 hours of time. We're like, that was not an hour's worth of time. And it's because we were so fully present in the moment, so connected, everything was flowing, and, we're having fun and a great time. And time really will change for your benefit. One, when you do, I just said, come into this present moment. But there's also about reprogramming your subconscious, connecting with the divine. So think about this. From our family's upbringing and from what we've seen in the world, and as a child, all of our personality was mostly developed by like 6 years old, right? From the womb up to 6. We've seen what we believe is possible. Well, what this means is that you will believe deep in your subconscious core, beneath your conscious thoughts of what you may think is possible and have learnt can happen, all your positivity and your rah, 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 deep down somewhere inside of you, you will have a set of rules about how much money you can make in how much time, about how easy it is, how hard it is, how fair it is, how much you deserve it, what you have to do, what is impossible, what's possible, what's allowed, what's not allowed, what's good, what's bad. And they're all programmed with many, like a flowchart of each belief, each subsection with other little subsections of beliefs that include memories, experiences that are encoded in your energy field in your body. And these are the things that when it's full of negative energy and it compounds and compresses, it will turn into physical disease, right? Or simply just regular anxiety and things like that and panic attacks. So even if you're already done so much inner work that you maybe overcome more of that, or maybe you didn't grow up with much of that, it's still really important to understand that we all have encoded in our systems a belief of how long things have to take for especially how much money we're allowed or able to make within a certain amount of hours. And so you will fill up all that time unconsciously to fit that exact time and amount that you think it has to take. And when we go in and do the subconscious programming, we give you time. My subconscious programming is a mix of biofield healing where we actually bring up the holographic memory and the feeling and find out the memory that's encoded in it, the beliefs that came from that, the commitments you made to. That means, well, because people hurt me like this, I will never speak up. Like maybe when you're 3. And you may even be speaking up as part of your business. Yet there's a part of you that maybe when you hit go live on the camera, you start shaking a bit or feeling tense, or your real personality doesn't quite come out like your friends get to see. Well, that's because of an unconscious vow you made as a child that says, well, because this happened, that means I will never, or I will always, ... And now you're running from that program today. So do your subconscious healing work, especially my method, because my magic is beyond anything that most people have tried. And once they try my brand of tapping, healing, energy work, energy alchemy, biofield healing, advanced talk therapy, belief change, reality shift, timeline jump, multiple people have told me how I've ruined it for everyone else, like especially tapping, because they can't do other people's tapping anymore because other people's tappings are like, ba 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 ba, and I'm like, feel the feeling, which is what really heals. You got to feel to heal. And I'm like, breathe into the feeling, and I'm like, exaggerate the words, which means that you bring it up, you can face it, you can see it, you befriend it, you talk with it, you go on to this big epic adventure, not for the sake of it, but because it's what works to really dissolve the negative. Shadow work is the most powerful thing, and it's not about rejecting your emotions. It's not about rejecting the fear. I saw a post recently where some girl was talking about how, healing doesn't really work. And halfway down the post, she's like, sick of rejecting the feelings and all that. And I'm like, that's literally not healing. If you're rejecting the feelings, you are not healing. This work is about integrating the shadow, making friends with these parts of you that have an opinion. There's sub-personalities within you that have been shut down into the basement and stuck down there, and they're actually zapping you of your time, of your energy, of your creativity, because they're going on their own little journey, doing their own little thing with their own directives because you're not connected with them. So you will get more time when you go and you listen to the subconscious parts of you, befriend them like I teach, and you'll be shocked at what opens up in your life. Like the amount of amazing things that start happening in a shorter period of time when you clear all your old just subconscious beliefs, and they're different for everyone. And this will help you in multiple areas of your life at once. Many people, they come to me for business stuff, visibility blocks, manifestation, success mindset, increased energy, even, healing chronic pain and things like that, which is one of my favorites. But to be honest, most people who I heal their chronic pain, I've healed many, they come to me for business blocks or relationship issues. And then I find out they have chronic pain. I'm like, well, while we're here, why don't we just heal that too? I'm like, oh, okay. Like they've been to the doctors for years, told that nothing can heal, nothing's healing. Yet then they work with me. And as we help them in their business, I also help them heal their stomach spasms or their asthma or their foot pain or sciatica, womb cramps, frozen shoulder, all those things. But anyway, the reason I started saying this was because so many people, they come to me for one thing like business blocks, and then they have multiple areas of their life start changing at once because everything's connected. So if this has helped you, and if you want more time in your life, then please subscribe and hit the like button and let me know your highlights and takeaways in the comments below.